With a big game against South Carolina coming up at the end of this really arduous stretch, it's sad to see some names on this new injury report.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. That's him. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. We'll talk about Mazda in just a little bit. I want to thank you everydayers for being here every day. Thank you newbies for being here today. And thanks everybody for making this your first listen every single day. You guys are the absolute best. I ain't kidding. Jimmy, we really just planned to have a guest picker today. That didn't work out. And we planned to talk about nothing but predictions today. That didn't work out because last night the injury report for Alabama came out. Lo and behold, you have Gino Vandermark. Not great. I mean, we were like, okay. Danny Lewis. Well, we played most of the year without him anyway, so not the end of the world. But Lottie Brooks, I mean, you could make the case Lottie Brooks has probably 2 or 3 of the most 5 impactful catches of the year. I just hate that for him. I don't know what in the heck happened. Did everybody go to a rager on Wednesday night or something? What happened?
Well, the thing that's kind of unique about Alabama is for those unaware of how this is working, you put out your first availability report on Wednesday, and then it's updated every day until the game on Saturday. That's the rule. That's how the SEC is doing it. And Wednesday, really the only players in the availability report were the ones we already knew that were sort of out for the season or an extended period of time, like Jamarian Latham and Jeremiah Beeman. We know they're out for the year. Quay Russo and Caden Jones, they're out for several weeks, recovering from surgeries. Now they're going to be back at some point, probably late in the year. But those were the only players on it Wednesday. Then the new availability report that came out Thursday, all these new guys on it, the ones that Luke just went over, Vandermark, Brooks, and Danny Lewis. I think the loss of each of the 3 would be very impactful. And by the way, Lottie Brooks isn't out. He's listed right now as doubtful, which basically the way the SEC defines it means that's Alabama staff saying there's a 75% chance he's not going to play. So I think we can assume we're not going to see him. Lottie Brooks, here's the impact it's going to have on the team besides the fact that you're down a playmaker, because Lottie is clearly one of our better outside playmakers. But how it's really going to affect things is when Brooks plays, he plays a slot. So now the backup slot guy is out. That means the starter at the slot's going to play a lot more snaps. Who's that? Ryan. Ryan's snap numbers had been down since the injury, but now not only does it have to come up, it's going to come up with seeing Ryan almost exclusively in the slot. I think that's what we're going to see a lot Saturday, is almost exclusively in the slot. Some people earlier in the year felt that was a bad position for him. He's not physical. He's not physical enough to handle all this over the middle stuff, dealing with the safeties instead of being outside with the corners. I think that was overplayed a little bit. I still think you're going to see a nice game from Ryan on Saturday. I think he needed more experience playing there in these game situations. He's got that now. I really don't see it as being much of a thing. That is going to lead to a lot of outside. You'll see still Zay Horton and Jeremy Bernard. And, Jerm's a nice bet to have a good day on Saturday. No doubt about that. Mute. Now you're listed as doubtful. It was doubtful you were going to make it through the show without
I'm like that baseball player. Do you remember that baseball player years ago that he said, yeah, I got hurt. I was like helping an old lady across the street or whatever. And because he wanted to, still get his pay. Turned out he hurt himself washing his truck. You remember that?
I don't think I remember.
Oh God. Anyway, that's what I am. I just go around hurting myself.
I remember when Vince Coleman of the St. Louis Cardinals, who was the fastest player in Major League Baseball, guy was stealing 100 base a year. Vince Coleman, he got injured because he got run down by the electric tarp. The Cardinals were putting the tarp on the field. The thing moves like 1 mile an hour. and he somehow got tangled up in it and got hurt and lost for a few. Like the fastest guy in the league couldn't outrun the 1 mile an hour tarp.
It was like when in that Austin Powers when he ran over the guy with a steamroller. The guy, like they kept showing the guy going no, and like he wouldn't move. All right. So what I was going to say was, spoiler alert. I was going to talk about this because there are some spreads out there for the various receiving yards, rushing yards, whatever for Alabama, and Ryan Williams receiving yards today are 58.5. Let me tell you, spoiler alert, I'm going over. I mean, Ryan Williams is going to play more. He's healthier. He finally is making catches like we know he can catch. And I think Ryan Williams is going to have a big day. I keep saying that. I know that people are like, look, you've said that. And I know I've said that every time. But this is a Ryan Williams podcast. And if he doesn't work out, I got to come up with a new name.
That's true. But now, how about this? I'm going to go over as well. I'll say over 58 yards. But I will admit this, even though I just said I think it's overblown about criticism regarding him playing slot receiver. I would agree that if Lottie or Brooks was playing Saturday, so we knew Ryan would spend more snaps outside, I would be more adamant that he's going over that 58. Because I would agree with anybody that, hey, where's Ryan going to be most productive? I mean, history shows when he's outside, he's more productive. So he's going to be inside this week, but I still think he goes over 58 yards. I'm with Luke. I won't be surprised if he has a huge game. It's coming. We said it earlier this year. He's had a good game, and for as much criticism as he's getting because so far it hasn't looked like his freshman season. He's 18 years old. He should be a true freshman right now. And if he was a true freshman right now, having this exact season we're watching, you know what our reaction would be? Wow, he's great. But we're kind of comparing him to what he did getting off the bus last year. So,
but we're comparing him to his own legend. I mean,
yeah.
his reputation far preceded him.
And he's been hurt. He got a concussion and then had to miss time with the concussion. Then he gets back and then he's got another injury. So he's just banged up and adjusting to life in the slot. And so I think though that's the explanation for why has Ryan not a first team All-American thus far. That's why. Injuries, learning to play all the wide receiver positions last year, playing almost exclusively outside. Now he's having to learn and play all the spots.
Couldn't Rico Scott do the slot?
I think he does line up there some.
Couldn't we keep Ryan to the outside, put Rico in the slot?
Even Jeremy plays in the slot some, but the receivers that play the most, are Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and Isaiah Horton. And when those three are out there, most of the time it's going to be Ryan in the slot.
True. I'm still okay. Well, then what I'll say is Ryan will make most of his hay when Rico Scott is in there or somebody else. Now, did I miss it, or was Derek Meadows not on the injury report?
He was not on the injury report. So I think Derek Meadows is a full go this week, and we're likely to see him out there to an extent. I don't think he's going to play a ton of snaps, but he's obviously a part of the plan every week. And, very encouraging for the future for sure.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be important to get him in the action so that, just move that huge hit out of the way. Just get it out of his system. I mean, it's already happened. And I think once you make a big play, you're sort of like, okay, mentally you get over that hump. And so I would like to see what we did against Missouri was fantastic with him. We had set up that play where he was going to go streaking down the middle of the field and he was going to be open, and he was open. The safety just came over and decapitated him practically. So it would have been an amazing catch. And but it could have been even a touchdown. And I think against a lesser hitting safety and maybe a slower safety, it is a touchdown. So I would like to see him get out there and sort of, work the cobwebs out. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world that Lottie Brooks isn't there. Nobody's saying that, but I think we have all fallen in love with Lottie Brooks. I think that's very fair to say that we watch him play and we're like, man, this guy is so much better than everybody thought. Even us, you and I have been singing his praises since we got him committed. Yeah. So
Yeah, I was not surprised at all that he would be playing and in the rotation, but I think it's fair to say he's exceeded expectations, especially for a true freshman. Now, a couple of other guys that are hurt, we are going to see some changes in the lineup. For instance, Gino Vandermark, let's say he can't go. If he can't go, that means we'll see more Jaden Roberts than we've probably seen all season of him, which is largely a good thing. I think we tend to believe, whether right or wrong, that Roberts has more upside than Vandermark, and that when Roberts is at his best, he's probably the best right guard we have. He's just not at his best all the time, from a combination of missing time due to injury, inconsistency. And, when those big guys miss time, they can really, get out of game shape quickly. But he's played a lot the last couple of weeks, and now he'll play even more with Vandermark out. And at tight end, when you're on the road at South Carolina, we probably don't pay as enough attention to this as we should. But with Danny Lewis definitely out, his spot is taken by Caleb Edwards, who's going to be just a phenomenal player in his time at Alabama. But it's still asking quite a bit of a true freshman to play 30, 40, 45 snaps in Columbia, South Carolina on the road against a good defense. And by the way, he's going to be when you're the Y and you're playing South Carolina, there will be times in this game he's going to be asked to help on Dylan Stewart. I mean, that's a heck of an ask for a kid that was literally in high school in May, and now you're being asked, oh, by the way, can you help us out with Dylan Stewart, who might be the number 1 pick in the 2027 NFL draft. That's how good that guy is.
I think the key part of that is help and not solo.
Yeah, not solo. Yeah.
Let me tell everybody about Mazda. This episode is brought to you by Mazda, moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture, they keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward, I mean, come on. It's Xavier Brown. It's the interception. It was unbelievable. And if you haven't gone to YouTube and just put in Xavier Brown interception Tennessee, you will get all these multiple views of it. And it's so wonderful because it is one of the louder moments in Bryant-Denny history, if you ask me. And the way the crowd reacted, the moment, I mean, you could see it coming. And it was absolutely awesome. Xavier Brown, of course, is this week's moment that moved the game forward. And when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move, and be moved, Jimmy Stein guaranteed.
I guarantee those Mazdas will move. I guarantee those Mazdas will move.
Well, that's what I want your guarantees to be actual, like, you can't ruin them.
It'll move, and it'll move.
It'll move. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to say anything else.
I owned a Mazda. It was one of my first car. Loved it. Wish I still had.
I had a cherry red Mustang convertible for my first car.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's on brand.
It is on brand, except it's like that car needed to go to somebody much cooler than me.
Yeah, the same thing. Yeah, I had a sports car. Mazda. I was a sports car. Now I wasn't cool enough to pull it off, but I tried.
I mean, when I pulled up in it, it was like, and I let the top down. People were like disappointed I was in it. All right. So, all right, we already talked about Ryan Williams. I'm looking at Prize Picks now. Prize Picks has been a sponsor of the show, so I don't mind looking at them. And Prize Picks, 58.5 for Ryan Williams. We've already seen over.
We're going over, but I'm over with trepidation based on, again, anticipating Ryan playing more slot snaps than we've seen since the emergence of Lottie Brooks.
I do find it interesting. They have a over-under for Lottie Brooks at 33.5. Now,
at the under, will they allow us to do
if
that?
he doesn't play, we know he's not going to play. I don't know how that works, but I just found it interesting that they even have an option for it. I mean,
right. That he would be significant enough to make the prop bet board.
Yeah. Jeremy Bernard, the germ making people sick. He's 60.5. I'm going to go ahead and make another prediction. Ryan Williams has more yards than Jeremy Bernard. Now, the over-unders are not, I mean, they're separated by 2 yards. But I'm going to make a prediction. This is Ryan Williams leads the team in receiving this week.
I'll just to be. I mean, I don't doubt that, but just to take the other side, I'll go Germ, but I don't feel adamant about it. And that's why Alabama's so good, right? I mean, Ryan or Germ can go off, and when you get all concerned about them, I think Zay Horton's one of the best possession receivers in this league.
Mhm.
And even with Lottie Brooks out now, you know, Rico Scott's probably going to play a little more. Derek Meadows is a guy we might see. And I still think at some point this year, I don't see him becoming a significant player, but I do think Jalen Mbakwe will make a significant play at some point.
Well, the one thing that is interesting and probably makes taking the over-unders in Alabama receivers difficult is that the ball is spread around. Shoot, Parker Brailsford has a reception this year, y'all. Of course, that was by accident, but you know what I mean.
What's weird is Brailsford, here, this will shock people. Brailsford has a reception, and know who doesn't? Caden Proctor. Because people
that
go,
is true.
oh, he caught the ball. No,
Nope.
that was a run play
That was
because it was a backwards pass.
That's right.
So it's kind of weird that Brailsford has the reception and Caden Proctor does not. Proctor didn't get the ball, by the way, against Tennessee for the first time in 3 games. So I think it's a good bet that maybe early we see Caden Proctor with the ball in his hands in South Carolina.
In our group, we all said what's going to happen is jump pass, Caden Proctor jump pass. I mean, I talked about it last week that's what I want to see. But now, if we're going to do like the Quintella or whatever it is, where he gets a carry and a reception and a pass, and then maybe he can make a tackle and he gets a pancake block. He's going to have to get another reception too. But I do believe a jump pass is coming. This is not inside information. This is me reading my own tea leaves.
He can throw the ball. I mean, that's not I mean, of course, anyone can throw a ball, but what I mean is Caden Proctor looks like an athlete when he throws the ball. It's not crazy. So the jump pass will be probably, quote, easier than just taking a snap in the pocket and delivering the ball downfield on a seam route to Cuevas. I don't know that we're going to see that, but boy, that would be fun.
Please. I would love to see him throw a slant, but also I think it's going to be a lot more pass than jump. All right. So over under for Ty Simpson, 265.5.
I'll go under.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Under, but because how about that we see Saturday more of a concerted effort to run the ball? And that's going to keep the passing numbers down because I think Jam Miller and Daniel Hill maybe set a season high in touches and carries. Just a suspicion I have. Also feel like Saturday is a little bit more survive and advance as opposed to blowout fancy offensive fireworks. I think it's a little more survive and advance and not a lot of explosives and downfield big plays. I think it's just downfield marches, taking up a lot of time running the ball. So I'll go under on the Ty Simpson number.
I think that's fair. I'm still going to go over because in the end, I don't think we can run the ball yet. So, and with Jaden Roberts still not, 100%, even though he wasn't on the injury report. So, I mean, that we still know, he's day to day, but aren't we all? And then Gino Vandermark probably not playing. So, I mean, I just feel like we still are a passing team. That's what we do.
It'll be interesting to see who starts at right tackle. Last week, Michael Carroll started, but Formby played more snaps because, frankly, this was a game where Formby played better than Carroll did, And now, does that mean that they're going to put the brakes on this Michael Carroll thing? No. It's still full speed ahead. It'll be interesting to see who starts on the snap share with Vandermark out. Maybe we see more of Michael Carroll at right tackle with Formby sliding inside.
How about this? Longest completion for Ty Simpson, over under 42.5.
Over. I'll go over, but he's not we're not a deep ball offense. Ty's, again, we talked about this on the show recently. Ty hasn't really shown that part of his game much, and you can bet that if he has a pro day, next March, if he has a pro day, deep balls are going to be all over that script because the NFL guys are going to be going, what's his deep ball look like? We didn't see it on tape. I will go over though, but 42 yards, that could also be, a slant to Germ and he runs.
He takes it out. Yeah. Well, I mean, the longest pass play we have is the 75-yarder to Ryan Williams, which was a double reverse, throwback. How about this? Longest rush for Jam Miller, 17 and a half yards. I got to look up what his longest rush of the year is. It can't be that long.
I certainly ran to the under as soon as you said that. I mean, it just hasn't been Alabama's offense. I mean, that's one thing just completely missing. We have not seen there's the handoff and then there's the 60-yard explosive, touchdown. We just hadn't seen that. Now it's probably coming. I mean, at some point that's probably going to happen. But no, I would go under based on all evidence to date. I would go under on that 17 yards.
How about longest reception for Jeremy is 26 and a half and longest reception for Ryan Williams is 25 and a half. I like over on both.
I go over on both, particularly since we both feel like Ryan and Jerm will have, pretty good days. So I think over on both for me there.
Okay. All right. Well, when we come back, it's time to get into the actual prediction of the game and then talk about a few of the other games that are out there. And we will do that next. Right now, of course, though, I'm telling you about DoorDash. I love DoorDash. I always do. I mean, I use it all the time. I would have used it last night. Yesterday was my birthday, Jimmy. Turned 53 years old.
Happy birthday.
And I didn't do DoorDash. I just went out to dinner with just me and my daughter, my 9-year-old. And it was nice. And had a great time. It was the perfect birthday. I did absolutely nothing. And I got all my calls and things through Facebook, so I didn't even have to answer a lot of calls or anything. It worked out. When you're 53, you kind of quit talking to people unless it's on a podcast. So DoorDash, it's almost a weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win earlier Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered the most. Let's break it down. Look, I've already used Xavier Brown, so how about Yanzi Pierre for Alabama delivered in a big way? He had 3 sacks. I mean, essentially 3 sacks. He caused a safety. They should count it as a sack. I don't know if they do.
It's crazy that they don't. It's dumb.
Stupid. They had everything that you want. He was just fantastic, and he has really come on. He's a dude. And just like Yanzi Pierre delivered for Bama, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order. Stack it all up this season, and you can save up to 250 smacks. What? Including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms do apply because they apply to everything. Promo period through November 18th. And go check out DoorDash because I love it and you will love it too. Then there's FanDuel. Yeah, man. FanDuel. Yeah, you love it. You do. I mean, we all love FanDuel because it's fantastic. And the NFL season is here, and FanDuel has offers you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Take a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, tried player props, and even followed live lines during games. It makes watching football even more fun and exciting when you got a little something riding on it. Of course it does. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into stats, FanDuel's for you. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started with FanDuel.
Sort of regret not going big on FanDuel last night on the Chargers. I'm not great at picking games, but every now and then I get real adamant about a pick, and I love the Chargers to win big and cover last night, and they did. And I'm as soon as it was over, I'm like, why didn't I just put down something with a couple of zeros on it? I just felt so sure of that.
You did. You got a couple of zeros, and that was it. So,
that's exactly what I put down on it.
All right, so let's talk about the prediction for this game. Yep. Number one, I regret we didn't have a crossover with Chris Marlowe this week. We should have done that. But number two, I'm going to go Bama 38-17. Seems like a lot. But, in the end, I think you have to choose this one of two ways. You either think South Carolina is going to come out with their hair on fire because they're like, man, we're tired of losing. We got to do something. Or you feel like they're going to come out and they're going to sort of go through the motions, but they got enough talent to still score. I'm going to go for the latter, I think that South Carolina is, man, they got to be a little down on themselves. And I know their injury report only had one dude on it. I think it's the same kind of situation.
Their best offensive lineman.
Yeah, he is their best offensive lineman, but some other offensive linemen are also banged up. And Dylan Stewart is banged up. Again, they're all banged up this time.
I'm surprised he wasn't on the injury report. I mean, I sat there and watched him get hurt last Saturday in the game.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Alabama 38-17 with a confidence level of 8 out of 17.
Okay. I'm going to say that the game is going to play out. Oklahoma beat them 26-7, I think, last weekend. I think this game is going to play out really similar to that game. I think Alabama and Oklahoma have some similarities in terms of not just how they play offense and Mateer and Ty Simpson, but just in terms of how good the teams are. I think just Alabama's similarly good to Oklahoma, probably even a little bit better in some ways. So I think the game is going to play out similar. I have 27-10 Alabama. And I do think Alabama's going to make a concerted effort to run the ball a little more than they've been. I think South Carolina is a team you can get on the ground a little bit. But in the end, Alabama's going to win the game because South Carolina is going to have great difficulty moving the ball. One thing I think we're going to see from South Carolina, they probably will do well. I expect to see Lenore Sellers have a pretty big day on the ground. I won't be surprised to see Lenore Sellers rush for 70, 80 yards, maybe even 100 yards. But I don't think that other skill players are going to go off here. I think most of the damage will be done by Sellers and his legs. Other than that, they won't generate much offense. And Alabama will take advantage of that field position. But I see it more in terms of time-consuming possession-type drives that feature a lot of runs with Jam and Daniel Hill. And Alabama wins one that's not overly exciting. It's not a blowout. It's not close, but it's not just running roughshod either. Just a 27-10 survive and advance type win for Alabama that can get to a glorious off week and rest up the bruises.
You know, it's interesting you brought up Lenore Sellers in the running because I saw on Prize Picks his over-under is like 31. But the thing you have to remember is sacks count against your total.
Exactly right. You know, when you take the sack, okay, if you take the sacks out, Lenore Sellers has rushed for about 400 yards.
That's crazy. So well, in the NFL, you don't do that.
He's got significant forward progress on the design runs, but he's been sacked so much that his rushing numbers look terrible. Again, I think South Carolina has been sacked 27 times in 7 games. That's a stunning number. It's about 4 per game. And I'll go ahead and put that, I'd put the over-under for Alabama sacks at 3.5 and predict that it's going to be 4 sacks for Alabama.
That's not a testament, but whatever the opposite of testament is to their offensive line, because when you got a dude who can move around like him and he's still getting sacked all the time, that tells you the line ain't doing nothing. Let's zip through some of these picks. By the way, shout out to Justin Aboigby last night who had a sack for the Chargers. Oh. I don't know if you saw that, but
good play.
Okay, we're going to zip through these. Ole Miss at Oklahoma. Oklahoma 4.5-point favorite. I think this is Lane Kiffin's like last stand. I mean, like he's got. If you don't win this, there's a good chance. Like if it comes down to splitting hairs of getting in the playoffs, you probably won't get in. You don't have any great wins. You know, if assuming LSU still falls off a little bit. So I think Ole Miss has to win this one. I'm going to pick Ole Miss in the win.
I like the pick and I like the reasoning, but I'm going to pick Oklahoma because it's in Norman. If this game was in Oxford, I would pick Ole Miss for sure. But it's in Norman. I think Oklahoma at home in a close one, and then Ole Miss is going to sweat out the playoff. But ultimately, I believe they get in at 10-2.
You just Lee Corso'd me. I love that pick. What a great pick. And I'm going the absolute opposite.
I'm going the other way. But I do like I like the reasoning behind it. I agree that this doesn't feel – on the surface, like, why would this be a desperation game for Ole Miss? I think it really is a desperation game for Ole Miss, but I'll take Oklahoma at home.
Auburn at Arkansas, unless this game gets called off due to lack of interest, which it may, this game will go forward, and it's going to be apparently a deluge. It's just going to be rain, and the line has gone up to Arkansas -3.5. I would think heavy rain would favor Auburn because Arkansas does throw it more and they throw it a lot better, and they have a more potent offense with a leaky defense. But for some reason, it's going the other way. I'm conflicted here because I want Hugh Freeze to stay because I think John Summerall's a good coach, and I think if Hugh Freeze loses this game, he's out, and I think John Summerall's in, and I think he's sort of the dude that would be good for Auburn. Again, I don't know that Auburn's ever going to have Pat Dye days again because there's too many good teams in the SEC. But I think John Summerall would be a good coach for them, and I don't think Hugh Freeze is a good coach for them. That said, I can't ever cheer for Auburn in anything for any reason. I don't care what the consequences. So I'm picking Arkansas.
I'm picking Arkansas too. I think Arkansas wins this game, and I'm a little bit adamant about it. Not quite as adamant I was about the Chargers beating the Vikings last night, but I like Arkansas to win this game. I think they're due, and this is the right matchup for them. I will just also say that I picked Arkansas to beat Notre Dame and was spectacularly wrong. And I picked Arkansas to upset Texas A&M last week.
Me too.
Closer there. Didn't happen, but at least it was within shouting distance, to say the least. So I've picked Arkansas and paid for it, but I'm picking Arkansas again.
Arkansas is due for one of these. So anyway.
They're much better than their record. I do think that's true.
You know what is happening here, right? Hugh Freeze loses this game, gets fired, probably loses to Vandy, does DJ Durkin, but squeaks by Kentucky, squeaks by Mercer, and then plays us tooth and nail because it's going to end up being.
I don't expect an easy game. We played them when they had an interim coach before the Hugh Freeze hire, right? When Cornell Williams was, and they played us tough with Cornell as their interim head coach, and Tuscaloosa was an Alabama win. But I remember they rushed for a lot of yards. And, I'm expecting it to be a tough game with Auburn at the end, no matter what happens.
All right, we're going to zip through these now. Missouri, Vandy, give me one-word answer.
Missouri.
I'll go Vandy. Texas, Mississippi State.
Texas, but not too confident there. Texas.
I'm calling it. Mississippi State. Okay. Texas is just not good. I don't know why people keep buying into them. They might have talent everywhere. They're not good. Texas A&M at LSU.
LSU at home.
I'm going Texas A&M, but because you know what? I don't want Texas A&M to lose because the one thing I don't want, if Alabama makes it to SEC championship, I don't want to play Georgia. Not because I'm scared of Georgia, because for the love of God, I've had enough. Just had enough. And
when ESPN matched up Alabama and Georgia in the college football playoff show Tuesday night on their bracket show and said Alabama and Georgia in the quarterfinals, I'm like, Georgia again?
I mean, God. All right, and then finally, Tennessee at Kentucky. I think Tennessee rumbles because I think they're ticked off. They need the style points. And so I'm going to go Tennessee big, but for whatever reason, that line's only 7.5, and that's freaking me out.
I don't rule out Tennessee winning out, finishing 10-2 and making the playoff. Like, no one's talking about that. I don't rule that out at all.
But I don't know that I just don't know that they'd have the wins to get in. If they win out, it would include a
home win over Oklahoma. And I think that's the toughest game they have left, a home game against Oklahoma. They also go on the road to play Florida. But as we all know, I mean, Florida, Billy Gonzalez is their head coach right now. Or whatever.
I mean, that sounds like the opening act for a Taylor Swift concert, Give it up for Millie Gonzalez. All right. That's going to do it for today's podcast. We'll be back tomorrow, post-game show, just about immediately. So be ready for that because Jimmy and I are both home. It's home games for us tomorrow. So until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.